Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to film another school counseling lesson plan video for you. I haven't had one for the last 2 weeks because I was doing lessons that were specific to my school about school behavior and those types of things, and so I didn't really have anything to show you. The PowerPoint I put together I couldn't show you because it was specific to my school, and it didn't make any sense to share all of that here on YouTube. But I'm back today to show you what I'm doing, what I did this past week and what I'm doing this upcoming week for personal safety lessons. And I'm excited to show you. I've got really good lessons these 2 weeks. So I want to start by showing you what I sent out in my September counseling newsletter. This is a template that I purchased on Teachers Pay Teachers. I can't remember who it's from, but I'll have it linked in the description box down below. You may not be able to see it very well because I put it on orange Astra Bright paper, but this went home in the month of September. I've got October's that I am working on as well, and I can show you that one here in a second. But it just has my name, it has my name of the school up here too, and then we talked about being a hero and what that means. That's an acronym we use for positive behavior. So H means to help others, E means to earn respect, R means to remember safety, and O means to own your behavior and your education. So we talked about that. I informed the parents what that was and how they can identify those habits at home and help their students at home. And then I also talked about personal safety, letting the parents know that I'm going to be doing personal safety with them. So I wrote that each year I teach a lesson with our students about personal safety. In these lessons, we focus on how to make sure we're staying safe in all situations. I also emphasize the importance of reporting any behavior that makes them feel uncomfortable or unhappy. And so that's kind of my way of letting the parents know, hey, I'm going to talk about personal safety because I don't ask for permission first, and I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. But that is my Counseling Connection newsletter that went home for September. Like I said, this template I didn't come up with. The fonts and everything I chose, but I didn't come up with that template or anything like that. Let me show you the planner for this upcoming week. I can't show you last week because I have a lot of personal names written into it, but I can show you this week. I only have one personal name written in so far, and I went ahead and blocked that out. But here is my plan for this week. I finished my planning on Friday night when I was at home, so I didn't bring home my really skinny washi that I write on when I put in my lessons. So instead I just opted for these pencils from Nikki +3. They don't match necessarily my grades. Like this was supposed to be 3rd grade, which is orange. And it does kind of, you know what I mean? But these over here don't all match, and that's okay. I just put a pencil where I have lessons, and that's just my visual reminder that I have lessons for those blocks. I put in my Kiss and Go in the morning. That's my duty. I heard at a training I went to yesterday, somebody call it the valet, and I loved that. I think the students would dig that. I put in my small groups. These are new. I'm just starting small groups. They're not going to stay on these days, but last week we had Rock Your School, and so I had lessons. Normally my groups will be on Mondays and Fridays, but because I had lessons that needed to get bumped, I had to put lessons on Monday, and so everything got rearranged this week, and that's kind of a bummer, but it is fine. We have picture day on Thursday. We have our RTI meeting on Friday. I have to make sure I give out my 3 square bags on Friday, so I use this cute little lunch bag. We have a staff luncheon on Thursday, which is our potluck. So I put in here to remember to bring my potluck food. I've got a webinar this evening, and then I put in dance and scouts and all that stuff down here at the bottom. I've got over here things I need to get done for the week, and then a follow-up that I need to do, as well as what we have going on for the weekend. If this is the first time you're watching one of my lesson plan videos, this is a planner that I printed and had bound for myself from EduKate, E-D-U-K-A-T-E on Teachers Pay Teachers, sorry. Because I was looking for a nice hourly planner that I could use, and I just wasn't finding what I wanted. I like the size of this. It's the same size as a piece of paper. I printed it on 32-pound paper, so it's nice and sturdy, and it has a cover and a back cover. I put in this little pocket for some stickers, and I love this planner. It's perfect for work. So I have an entire video on this planner. I'll have it linked in a card right here, so you can watch that next. I'll also have it linked at the end of the video, so if you want to watch that video, you can. But that's how the week looks so far. So it looks like I've got a bunch of time in here. There is every single day my 10 o'clock hour is booked. I just didn't have the sticker that I like to use for it, but from 10 to 11 I'm working with a student right now who doesn't have a one-on-one aide, and I volunteered myself to work with him. He has cerebral palsy. He's a darling, sweet, kind, smart little man that I just love to work with. So I work with him every day for an hour. So I don't have that marked in there yet, but I will. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into personal safety lessons. So I want to talk to you a little bit before I pull out my lesson about why I don't ask for permission before I do my lessons, because I did have some teachers ask me, like, you know, do you think that you should ask the parents for permission first? And my answer is no. I don't want to ask the parents for permission for a number of reasons. I don't want there to be any student who really should be listening to the lesson who isn't allowed. And also I don't want there to be any grooming of answers or prep for answers, or anything like that. And I'm not saying that that happens often. It doesn't, but it does happen. And every single year that I do my personal safety lessons, which is every single year because it's a standard that I have to teach. I'm sorry, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter that Daddy's downstairs. If they need something, they always come to Mom. Anyway, every single year that I do this lesson, I have some kind of student come forward and tell me some kind of secret that needs to be addressed. Sometimes it's really big. Last year it was really big. It was a big ordeal. And the year before it was minor. So it does happen though. And so I ask for forgiveness instead of for permission. I give my lesson. There should be no reason why a parent wouldn't want me to do a personal safety lesson. And if they do, if it, you know, promotes fear, or if it, you know, promotes questions, whatever, I'm willing to deal with all those things when they come instead of asking for forgiveness first. So I hope that that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know down below. I'm happy to clarify for you, but that is my personal take. I don't have a rule. There's no like rule for that. That's just the decision that I've made for my counseling program. So, and it's the decision that I've made with my principal. You can talk with your principal to decide what is right for you. So I'm going to start with my lesson for kindergarten. This is how I store my lessons. I showed it in my office tour, which I'll also have linked right here in a card. I'll have that linked at the end of the video too. But I always have them in just a regular file folder, and then I use an address label, and then I use a flare pen to write on it. And I like them to be in color, not in any specific color, but I just like them to be in color. And then I store them in my filing cabinet, and then they're just ready for me to grab if I need them again in the future. So the lesson that I'm doing in kindergarten comes from Counselor Keri. I got this on Teachers Pay Teachers. I purchased her entire kindergarten program, and I love it. So it's called Growing Together. And all of her lessons come with a lesson plan. It has the Ask Us standards here. It tells you what you need, which reminds me I need to grab stuffed animals, and then it gives you an outline, tells you your objectives and all of that good stuff. So that's what I put into my curriculum engine so that my admin can see what I'm teaching, the teachers can see what I'm teaching, and then I know what I've taught. The lesson is where you bring in a stuffed animal for all of the students, or ask them to bring their own, and they hold it while you talk about safe touch versus unsafe touch, and how do safe touches make us feel. They make us feel loved and protected and warm and snuggly, and we want more of them, like hugs from our mom and high fives from our dad and gentle, you know, pats on the back from our teachers for encouragement. Those types of safe touches, those make us feel good. And then we talk about unsafe touches and how those make us feel. And sometimes unsafe touches make us feel sick to our stomach, or they make us feel nervous or like we want to cry. We also talk about bathing suit areas and how those areas are only for us, and they're not meant to be touched by anybody else unless mom and dad are giving us a bath, and it's safe and it doesn't make us feel uncomfortable. And then we talk about saying no. If we do get a touch that feels uncomfortable, we say no, we get away, and we tell someone we trust. And then we all stand up and we practice saying no, and we yell it. And then we practice running away. So we'll do like we're running with our hands. And then we pretend like we're whispering, tell someone you trust. So I'm holding my hands up to my mouth. You can't see me, but that's tell someone we trust. And that is the, I'll put this up on the smartboard so that they can see it. There are other options, and then it has like all of your, she's got all of her resources and stuff in the back. So that's what I use for kindergarten. I do it in 15 to 20 minutes, nice and short. That way nobody is feeling uncomfortable for too long. So that's kinder. And then for my first graders, we do, another lesson from Counselor Keri, which is technically a kindergarten lesson, but I do it in first grade because I only do one personal safety lesson per grade, just because that's what I have time for, so I can make sure I get all my other stuff in. I've got some tea, sorry. But this one we do a sorting game. So again, it's from Counselor Keri. And this one is safe versus unsafe. And so I have these laminated cards that come with the kit. And then she also gives you ones that you can edit yourself. And they have on here different scenarios. And then you as a class will decide if they're safe or unsafe. She has like a whole way of doing it with circles on the ground and jump ropes and stuff, but we do it just whole grouped with a chat. And so things like helping a stranger find a kitten that he lost, is that safe or unsafe? And then we'll put it in one or the other. Picking up a needle, safe or unsafe? Swallowing medicine you found at your friend's house. Obviously I have to, what's it called? Shuffle them. Playing with a gun you found at home. So in this picture, it's a water gun, but how does the student know it's a water gun, right? So eating candy from a parent or trusted adult, that's okay, right? Wearing your seatbelt in the car, walking in the hallway versus running in the hallway. Swallowing pills given to you by a parent or trusted adult, that is safe. But then there's one about medicine, eating medicine, swallowing medicine you found at your friend's house, right? So there's a difference between taking medicine from a trusted adult versus medicine you just found. And then we talk about each one. Why isn't that safe? Why is that safe? What would you do differently? So this lesson, I schedule a half an hour, and I do this in first grade. Okay, again from Counselor Keri. I will have these lessons linked in the description box down below, just so you know. Okay, so let's talk about second grade. Second grade is a new lesson that I just purchased, again from Counselor Keri, because I love her, you guys. I have so much of her stuff. And this is her counseling safari line, and I have other ones. I have like a Meet the Counselor safari that I purchased from her. But this one is all about personal safety. Again, is it safe or unsafe? And this one, we're gonna talk about secrets. So we're talking about safe secrets and unsafe secrets. She's got a backpack here that you can use as like a talking stick. And then there's a handout. So and there's a PowerPoint that goes with it that I didn't print, but it has different scenarios. And then you discuss, is this a safe secret to keep? Is this an unsafe secret to keep? How do we know? What does a safe secret feel like? It's a safe secret's like, my mom is having another baby and she doesn't want anybody to know yet. Or I know what my sister's getting for her birthday and I don't want to tell her. Those are safe secrets. They make us excited. We feel happy about them. We don't feel uncomfortable. and we're okay keeping that secret. An unsafe secret makes us feel scared or worried or sick to our stomach. And so that's how we can tell the difference. We talk about how do you know if it's safe or unsafe. And then we have this worksheet that we'll do together. It lists out 6 different secrets and determining if they're safe, which we would keep in our backpack, or if they're unsafe, we would want to tell a trusted adult. And then down here at the bottom, it says my secret safety rangers or people I can talk to about unsafe secrets are, and then we'll list out some people the students can talk to if they need to share an unsafe secret. I always make sure that they put my name down there so they remember that they can tell me absolutely anything, and I'm always there to keep them safe. So that's for 2nd grade. So far, we're just all on a Counselor Keri roll, which I think I have more Counselor Keri coming, so just FYI. Okay, for 3rd grade, I purchased a kit from the Responsive Counselor, and this one is heavy. I'm not gonna lie. And I actually had a teacher in tears last week. But it's a companion for the book, Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept, by Janine. Why can't I think of her last name? I can't, for the life of me right this second, think of her last name. You know what? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Okay, I thought I had it in my counseling notebook, but I don't, and I don't have my phone up here with me, so I'll have it linked down below. You can find it on YouTube, and it's being read by this woman with this beautiful British accent, and I just love it. That's what we listen to. So I start off by telling the students this is going to be a super serious lesson. Normally we goof off and we have a good time, and this time we just need to be really serious, and that some of the things we talk about or listen to might make us feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. If we do feel uncomfortable, we're just gonna take a big, deep gulp, like a big swallow, right? And we're going to power through it together, and we're gonna be strong and brave, and we're gonna have the conversation together. So we listen to the story, Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept, and it's about a little boy who is he lives in a kingdom, and his mother cleans Lord Henry's castle. And while the castle is being cleaned, Lord Henry is watching him, and it starts off fun. He builds his trust, and then it turns into inappropriate touching. And it does say that he touches his private parts, and you'll see the kids squirm, and I just remind them, deep gulp, let's take a deep gulp together. And if you set the tone, you know what I mean? And the students, you've already built the trust and you've built that relationship by this point. So that's why this isn't my first lesson. And then when the story is over, then we talk about how there's safe secrets to keep and unsafe secrets. And then we use these cards, which come in the kit. I print and laminate them, and I print them in color because they're pretty. And then on the back, they have different secrets, and we talk about them. No one knows the password to your computer accounts. Is this a good secret to keep? I have them give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a thumbs in the middle if they're not sure. And then we talk about it. Your neighbor said you can watch movies at their house that your mom won't let you watch at home. Is this a good secret or bad secret? Now, this is not all of the cards. There are more, and there are blank ones for you to write your own, but I took the ones that were a little bit less harsh. There were some that were really serious, but I decided to keep it a little bit on the softer side. This one, you don't know how to swim, but you don't want your friends to know. This one was one that the kids were like, I don't really know. Do I want them to know? Do I not? And then we talked about why it would be important that somebody knew you didn't know how to swim. And if you didn't want to tell anybody, what would you do? You wouldn't go to pool parties, right? And then we completed this worksheet together, which also came with the kit. Now again, her purchasing this lesson, it comes with the whole lesson plan and your ASCA standards and all that. So I have that, I don't have it with me. I have it, it's at work. But you talk about how good secrets feel and how bad secrets feel and how to tell the difference. For adults, that I can tell if I have a bad secret, and what I'm gonna say if someone makes me feel uncomfortable, if someone touches me in a way. And we talked about how this can even be a teacher who gives hugs or high fives. If they just don't wanna be touched, they can say, hey, you know what? I would just prefer it if we just did a fist bump or if you just waved at me. That they have a right to say that, and you know, that they don't have to allow anybody to touch them that they don't want to. So that is 3rd grade. And then with that one, by the way, I have a parent letter that I send home that just talks about what the book is, that it's a developmentally appropriate way to discuss, to facilitate a sensitive conversation about body safety. I told them that we read the book, our activities that we completed, and then I encouraged them to just have a follow-up conversation with their students to make sure that they don't have any questions or concerns. And I polled the class after we did the lesson. I said, how many of you have already had this conversation with your parents? And in every single class, maybe 2 to 3 students raised their hand. So that's exactly why I teach it. Okay, we're moving along. So 4th grade. I try to do a different lesson per grade level so that I can reuse it the following year. So 4th grade, we have another lesson from Counselor Keri. This is, you can either do it in an interactive notebook or not. We don't use interactive notebooks, so I'm gonna show you what I did differently. Here is your lesson plan. This is safety centers, so it comes with 5 centers. This is a great way for the kids to get up and moving around. They work in groups, and we do it in 4th grade because at this point they have, they're a little bit more like in the know, right? We've gone over these lessons, so they know how to answer the questions. Every student gets this piece of paper that says personal safety sticks, and it has a little spot for each section, because there's 5 centers, and then the last one is for questions. So each student takes this with them to each center, and at each center there are these squares. And so what they do is they tape the square at the top onto that square, and underneath they write something that's stuck with them. I pre-cut these so that they have it already done, and I usually print them on Astra Bright paper so that they're colorful. This here is, when you print it and fold it, it becomes a cube. I printed it on Astra Bright, laminated it, and then folded it and put it together, and then I used clear packing tape to like wrap all the way around it so it was extra sturdy. But I'll show you what that goes with here in a second. Okay, come back here to the personal safety center. So we'll start at personal safety center number 1, obviously, which looks like this. I laminate them. And this one, they're just talking about their body, right? And not letting anybody touch their bathing suit areas, and to list 5 people they can trust. And then this is the paper that they fill out with their 5 people. Again, I remind them that I can be one of those 5 people, and that they want adults, not kiddos, because adults can get us help. And then for personal safety center number 2, which again, I printed and laminated. This one, they're talking about safe and unsafe secrets. And so you have the second paper here. You have these scenarios with secrets on them. You read them, and then they have to decide if they're safe or unsafe. And it says on here that trustworthy adults will not ask you to keep secrets from your parents, which is very important. Personal safety center number 3 is trusting our gut and what we would do. This one comes with the cube. So in this one, they read the scenario on the cube and then discuss it as a whole group. And then for safety center number 4, this one is about people asking us for help. And it's talking about how adults should never ask a child for help. And then again, it's got the help or get away. And you read the scenarios and decide if you're going to help them or not. And they're pretty self-explanatory for one, except for one. One usually is a fun debate, and that's about picking up your neighbor's newspaper. Some students are like, what? And then personal safety center number 5 is this one here, where you write a letter to your parent or guardian. It looks like this, and this is what they bring home. It says, "Dear blank, I know you want for me to be safe because I'll let you know when, and knowing you want me to be safe makes me feel." And it talks about how our parents and guardians are, want us to be safe because they love us and that they're not trying to control us. So that is what I do in 4th grade. This one I give 45 minutes for because we're up and moving around so much. My allergies are driving me bananas right now. I'm trying not to sneeze this entire time. It's kind of terrible. It's gonna be a long video, I'm so sorry. And then for 5th grade, I did a lesson on staying home alone. This is a new lesson for this year. I was really excited about it. It's called Solo Flight. And again, it's from Counselor Keri, shocker. And so here's our lesson. And then it comes with a flyer, which I'm gonna show you. Does it not have, okay. I didn't follow the lesson exactly the way she did. I created a PowerPoint to go over each section in the brochure because I like PowerPoints. They help me stay on task. They're a nice visual for the students. Her suggestion is to go with the flyer and then to have students draw pictures in the squares, but I actually had them write personal notes. So we went over each section individually and then I had them write notes. So this one says to know your emergency phone numbers, and then I wrote on here for them to write 3 names of people that they either already have their phone numbers or they need to get their phone numbers. What this one says, don't tell anybody you're home alone. And we said, what would you say if someone asked you if you're home alone? I had them write down what they would answer. Have an emergency plan in place. This was for them to write down an emergency plan that they needed to make with their parents. This says lock the door as soon as you get home and don't open it for anyone. And this one, I had them write no one. Like, we're not opening the door for no one. And then this last one says do not leave home without permission. And for this one, I had them write on here to talk to their parents for their parent specific rules, because every parent has rules. At my house, my kids aren't allowed to eat if they're ever home alone. And they're never home alone. They're always with Michaela. But if they're home and Michaela's watching them while I run to the grocery store, pick up the groceries or something, nobody's allowed to eat while I'm not home, because I'm afraid somebody's gonna choke. So that's one of my rules. I encouraged my 5th graders to talk to their parents about any rules that they have that might be a little different than ones that we discussed. So that, my friends, is all of my crazy personal safety lessons for these 2 weeks. Probably feels like a lot, and that's because it is. I do 1 grade level per day, and that way, you know, I just knock it out. This next week, not this coming week that we're going into now, but the following week when we do lessons, I'm going to try to split it up and do 1. So for my week of 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, I'm gonna do a 3rd, 4th, and 5th each day, just to kind of spread out the load. And that way I'm not teaching the same lesson 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, because that can get a little bit old. So that is it for this video, my friends. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my videos be seen, and it helps in the YouTube algorithm. I really am trying to make these videos be seen. I know that for me, when I first became a school counselor, I was dying for information, and I just feel like if I can give this info to school counselors, social workers, and teachers who can share these types of lessons with their students, then I'm helping someone. So please, please, please give it a thumbs up. That way it really helps the YouTube algorithm, and my video can be seen for other people. And subscribe if you aren't already. And until the next one, I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.